The week I signed the contract that changed my life. My dad asked me when I was finally going to get a real job. My name is Jasmine Carter. I'm 29. And for almost 2 decades my family called me the weird one with a computer. They thought I was lost, distracted, and wasting my time. But that night, at my brother's engagement dinner, everything changed. And what happened at that table would change my family forever. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, in a house where Sunday dinners felt like small ceremonies in my brother's honor. Ethan was the golden child, captain of the soccer team, straight A's. The kind of son everyone bragged about. I was the opposite. Quiet, curious, obsessed with technology. When I was 11, my dad brought home an old laptop from a warehouse auction. While other girls were decorating notebooks or learning dance routines, I spent hours taking that machine apart just to see how it worked. Jazz, you need to go outside, meet people. My mom Helen would say. She lives in a fantasy world, my dad George added. Ethan's going to Stanford, and she's playing hacker. Playing hacker. That was the phrase that defined my teenage years. At 16, I won the state robotics championship. I came home holding the trophy, so proud. My dad took one look and laughed. That's cute, Jazz. But remember, this stuff doesn't pay the bills. Something broke inside me that day. I stopped trying to prove my worth. I put the trophy under my bed and went back to coding quietly. While Ethan got into Stanford and later med school, I enrolled in computer science at a small public college in Columbus. No celebration. No, we're proud of you. Just, well, at least you won't depend on anyone. During my sophomore year, I met Riley and Maya. 3 nerdy girls, 1 cheap apartment, and an endless amount of caffeine. We built something nobody believed in. A data analysis system that used artificial intelligence to predict traffic patterns and optimize city routes in real time. We called it Urban Mind. Furthermore, we presented the idea at a hackathon in New York and won second place. Among the judges was an angel investor named Mark Beeson. After the event, he pulled us aside and said, "Girls, you're playing with something worth billions." We laughed. Thought he was joking. 6 months later, with a small investment, we rented a shared office and officially became a startup. Meanwhile, back home I was still just the daughter who lives with her friends and plays with computers. The next few years were intense. We survived on pizza, coffee, and code. But slowly, Urban Mind started to get noticed. Smaller cities began using our system to reduce congestion and pollution. When the pandemic hit, the demand for smart city solutions skyrocketed. We expanded to Seattle, Dallas, Denver. And while I was signing multi-million-dollar contracts, my dad told the neighbors, "Ethan's a doctor, saving lives every day. And Jazz, she's still figuring things out." One Christmas dinner, he looked at me and said, "When are you going to quit that computer stuff and find a serious job?" I smiled. The next day, I was presenting our integration proposal to Google Maps. But I didn't say a word. I'd learned that sometimes silence speaks louder than any defense. 3 years later, Urban Mind was in over 20 American cities and beginning to expand overseas. We had more than 2 million daily users. I was one of the youngest CEOs in urban technology in the country. Then one morning, an email landed in my inbox. A European company, Mobinet Systems, was offering $300 million to acquire Urban Mind. I read that number at least 10 times. Then I called my co-founders. We cried, laughed, and ordered takeout to celebrate. It wasn't just money. It was validation. Proof that believing in what no one else sees can change everything. But I didn't tell my family. They wouldn't understand anyway. And deep down, I wanted the truth to reveal itself naturally. Not as revenge but as justice. The dinner took place in an upscale restaurant downtown. Ethan had just gotten engaged to Charlotte, a corporate attorney from a prestigious New York firm. Everyone was there. Grandparents, uncles, cousins. I arrived late, laptop bag on my shoulder as usual. "Look who's here," my dad said. "Still married to that computer, huh?" Everyone laughed. I smiled and stayed quiet. But I noticed Charlotte watching me, like she was trying to connect the dots. During dinner, my dad stood up to give his speech. To Ethan, our pride, the first doctor in the family. And to Charlotte, a brilliant lawyer. Now all that's left is for Jazz to find her path in life. Laughter. Clinking glasses. And me, pretending it didn't sting anymore. Then Charlotte spoke. Her tone changed the room. "Jasmine, you work with Urban Tech, right?" "Yes," I said carefully. "Sorry if this sounds crazy, but are you by any chance the CEO of Urban Mind?" The laughter stopped instantly. My father froze. My mother's fork slipped from her hand. Ethan's mouth opened, but no words came out. I took a slow breath. "Yes," I said. "That's me." Charlotte's eyes widened. "Oh my God. I'm representing Mobinet Systems. I've been the lead attorney on the acquisition deal. You're the CEO who just sold for $300 million. The restaurant went silent. Even the waiter paused mid-step. My father whispered, $300 million? I took out my phone and slid it across the table. The headline from Forbes read, Mobinet Systems acquires Urban Mind for $300 million. Ohio-born CEO leads breakthrough in smart mobility. My dad stared at the screen. My mom's eyes filled with tears. Ethan turned pale. "Why didn't you tell us?" my mom asked, trembling. "Because you never asked," I said quietly. "You were too busy defining success for me." I stood up slowly, meeting my father's eyes. "Remember that hobby you said would never pay the bills? It's now helping cities cut pollution and save lives. Maybe not with a scalpel, but with code." No one spoke. The silence felt heavier than all the laughter before. I left an envelope on the table. Invitations to visit our new Seattle headquarters. And then I walked away. The next few days, my phone exploded with messages. Relatives, old classmates, even my parents. Everyone suddenly wanted to say how proud they were. I didn't reply for weeks. Not out of anger. But because, for the first time in my life, I didn't need to. A month later, Ethan came to visit me. He looked tired, sincere. "Jazz," he said, "I was a jerk. I spent my life trying to be perfect. And never realized how much I put you down. You were saving lives too. Just in a different way." I smiled. "Thanks, Ethan. But don't put me on a pedestal. We just chose different paths." When my parents finally came to see me in Seattle, I took them to the rooftop of the Urban Mind building. From there, you could see the city's traffic being managed in real time by our software. "See that, Dad?" I said. "That's what my little computer toy does now." He turned to me, eyes wet. "You were always the smartest one, Jazz. I was just too blind to see it." My mom hugged me tightly. "I'm sorry for making you feel small," she whispered. "I only wanted to protect you from failure." "But Mom," I said, "sometimes failure is just success wearing a disguise." 2 years have passed since that night. Urban Mind now operates in 10 countries. Whenever I go back to Cincinnati, my dad still introduces Ethan first. "This is my son, Dr. Ethan Carter." But now he smiles and adds, "And this is my daughter Jasmine, the founder who sold her company for $300 million. And still works like it's her first day." The difference is, it doesn't hurt anymore. Because I've learned that other people's recognition only matters after you've already learned to recognize yourself. If you have a dream no one understands, keep going anyway. Not everyone will see what you see, and that's okay. Keep building quietly until the noise of your success becomes impossible to ignore. Because sometimes, your greatest power is not needing to be understood, to keep moving forward. If this story touched your heart, give it a like, share it with someone who's ever been underestimated, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Remember, The voice that matters most is the one that believes in you, even when no one else does.